Welcome to the First 40 Sports Show with the Goon Squad. It's Ice Water and Puma on this episode. We have 67 days to the Rihanna halftime Super Bowl show. And we're going to start off the show by talking about Mills Lane. He passed away today. I know my buddy over there, Ice Water, has some special feelings for Mills Lane. We all do. We're going to talk a little bit more about it in our boxing segment, The Fight Game with Ice Water and Puma. But I want to give the stage to you, man. I see the picture up there, and we got to give some love to Mills Lane. One thing I will say, and I'll probably say a little later, when he was reffing a fight, you knew that the fight was going to be legit, that he was going to be fair to both fighters, that he knew what he was doing in that ring. The fighters respected him. And when you heard him say, "Let's get it on," it was time.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely. And kudos, for what you just said. And also send out sentiments to his family, man. But the one thing about him, I was blessed to meet him one time. That's all I needed. But I watched him with bouts and whatnot. But the picture behind me is they actually had a card where I live in Ohio. And they were pumping it up as a pro boxing card and whatnot. We don't have that a lot here in Columbus. But we had like Buster Douglas is from here, but we don't have a lot of major cards. Anyway, they were promoting it and whatnot. I had these different fighters coming in, and they said special guest referee was Mills Lane. I was like, man, I got to go to that. I don't care what happens or whatever. But got a chance to meet him after all of the bouts, and he was so genuine, just a nice man and a good dude, all about the business. And I tell folks this. I met a lot of celebrities, met a lot, and it's not to toot my horn, but when I covered sports and journalism, I met a lot of so-called famous people, right? But it's not often that you meet genuine people. So they might be great athletes or great referees, commentators, or whatever, but when you meet them and you find out they're genuine, you have a lot of respect for them. That gentleman behind me was a genuine man. Just a good dude, took time out for all kind of people. And he just kind of showed you in his walk, right? Where he was and where he raised his family. He was in the service, all kind of different things, and had a great family. So dude set a hell of an example. He's the judge on TV. He could do almost any damn thing. Just a good dude. And I know he struggled for a while with a lot of ailments. I think he had a stroke, and a lot of people thought he was already passed. But he was, dealing with what he had to deal with, was hanging on. Solid dude. Rest in peace, Mr. Mills Lane. Miss you, brother. Gonna miss you because you set a hell of an example for a lot of people in the world of boxing.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot more about Mills Lane and the fight game a little bit later. But when you give that ring salute, that boxing ring salute, in the next fight, hopefully we'll see on pay-per-view, give him his salute. Because this man did a lot for boxing. A lot of people forgot that he was the guy that was handling the heavyweights with Holyfield and Tyson, that the ear incident, and handled that the best way you could handle that. I can't think of any other ref that could have handled that the way he handled it during that particular time. But the other story that's pretty hot on the circuit now is Coach Prime finally takes the job at Colorado. It's been rumored that he was going to take this job. I know a few of us, during the show, I know Black and you and I were saying, hey, I hope he stays at HBCU, but he had his reasons to leave, and I am not mad at him. I'm congratulating him. I think it's a good move for him. I am really disappointed with some of the negative reaction of him leaving. And as far as I know, Ice, and I don't know Prime personally, but it seemed like he delivered on everything he promised Jackson State that he would do, and Jackson State didn't reciprocate. We know, coming from HBCUs, there's a lot of corruption that goes on and a lot of stealing that goes on. In our university, I love it, but we have presidents who stole. And one of my things that we've talked about privately is how come these folks aren't held accountable. It sounds like portions of the ticket proceeds where he was saying, hey, we're filling them up, but I'm supposed to get a part of the proceeds, but you're saying that we didn't make that much. The TV contract that he got for Jackson State, and they refused it. that could have been extra money that they could have used to pay him. Also, he brought resources, Walmart. He brought his own resources with, being that media, guy, brought ESPN, all these different resources to Jackson State. And for folks to say, oh, he sold out, I think that's really, really unfair where, when you had the school who really didn't do, I think, their due diligence. If they wanted to keep him, I think he would have stayed. But your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, it's just from the standpoint of, I was really surprised by some people that I know, some friends, right? Also, some other colleagues that really went after Deion Sanders and saying that he left too early or whatnot. But again, first of all, he didn't have to come to the HBCU. He came on his own accord. He wanted to make a difference, make change. He did that. And then, as you said, a lot of things were not handled the way they were supposed to, but he delivered. They needed a new facility. They needed a new field. As you mentioned, Walmart, some other groups that he brought in, and he made that happen. And not only that, he was able to bring in some top-notch players that never perhaps again would have ever thought about being part of an HBCU school as far as their recruiting, and definitely not trying to play there. So he delivered in a lot of different ways. He had a lot of other HBCUs getting looks from other people. So I think he delivered. And unfortunately, sometimes, I'm not going to say this because I think it happens for a lot of people, but I've heard a lot of people of color talking about we do this and we do that. It's not just us. There are other people too that feel the same way in regards to somebody they're one of their own and they want them to stay somewhere a long time. Sometimes we feel like we own them, right?
Good point.
Yeah, and I thought about this how long and hard. It's like we own them. Like, well, that's thank you, brother. Why you want to leave us out there? Leave us out here. You leaving somebody, like leaving somebody behind. But Deion Sanders, as you said, did not have to go down there. He's probably one of the only few that actually delivered and provided what he said he could to a number of people. I see a lot of people attacking him. And he was there for 3 years. He brought a lot of prestige to it, a lot of swag. Not swag, but swag, right? So he brought a lot of that to the table. And I'm not mad at him leaving. He was honest. He came on 60 Minutes. He said, hey, if somebody comes for me, I'm going to look at it. And I might leave. So my thing is this. For everybody that's mad, instead of being angry at him for not staying, how about now, since we have the spotlight maybe a little bit more on the HBCUs because of what he did and what he was, and we know the potential of the HBCUs, let's see if we can get more individuals like him to come and kind of rise up and do that and help out the schools. And then for those that are not, I'm going to rant, but for those that are not the athletes or something like that, how about raising up the school? Because that's what the schools deserve.
Exactly.
I mean, you don't have to have the money for that. There's other ways to do that. So how about some of the other coaches and other people like that too, and definitely with the administration. Let's rise up and raise these schools up because we see what's possible. Like I told you before, I'll get off this rant real quick, I promise. But just like at our school, Wilberforce University, just the influx of energy that our band brings to that campus, basketball, I mean, just so many things that it makes you want to go, man, I'm glad to be here because we missed that energy. So it's there. So instead of going down and getting mad and arguing and cussing out Deion Sanders, talking about he's a sellout and everything, how about we invest in our own schools? Let's make it a priority where we take care of it instead of talking about it. I know some people give a lot of money, but there's other ways to make it profitable and provide that energy. It's there. It always has been there at HBCUs. We just kind of ran away from it because they came and picked our best athletes away. Now they pick one of our best coaches and we're mad. I get it. But don't be mad at the guy for doing what he did because not a lot of other people invested the way that he did. Let him be and congratulate him and hope somebody else will follow his lead and we can continue on. I told you I wasn't gonna rant.
I want to thank Coach Prime. I want to thank him. 3 years, you didn't have to do that. And he exposed a lot in HBCU athletics. He exposed a lot. And like I said during the Eddie Robinson thing, y'all got to step up. If you want these primetime players, you want these 5-star, 4-star players, you got to step up. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to 5- and 4-star players who says I wasn't even recruited by HBCU. What I tell you?
Deion said that.
Good job. Yeah, they're not even recruiting you. I wanted to go to the HBCU, but they weren't recruiting. Are you kidding me? You're not even trying. So you mad at him? You should say thank you. You should say thank you. You should be gracious and say thank you. Because the question I want to ask Jackson State alumni, how much money you giving to the university? I know in Wilberforce, that gets questioned to us all the time. If you want to make your school better, you donate money. You donate resources. You donate something. You add to the resources of the school. And so if you want that program that Deion tried to set up, and he was fighting against some powerful waves, trying to get stuff there in Mississippi when you had the water crisis. What did he do? What did he do? And so your actions tells other Black coaches that are in the NFL, potential Black coaches, that this is the way I'm going to be treated. I don't want to be around this. It's us. It's us. It's us sometimes. We got to look in the mirror sometimes. Those who look like this, it's us. Just because they take a better job and go into Division I where we're not there, a lot of us aren't there. And he wanted to embark on this, don't call him a sellout. Don't treat, they broke into his son's truck, you know, they're spray painting his mural. 3 years, gave you everything he had, put you on the map. Nobody was talking about Jackson State. Nobody. Put you on TV, all that other stuff. The thing that impressed me the most, man, is the players. Their videotape of the players saying, thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Where I wasn't winning. I wasn't used to winning, but thank you. Not just for football, but teaching them how to be men and women. Mm-hmm. That's his ministry. So whether he does it in Mississippi and Colorado, I'm all for it. Do your thing, man. And look at the portal. The next day, Alabama players start getting in the portal, and Deion writes a note to one of the guys, I don't think it's from Alabama, one of the guys like, I ain't hard to find. Yeah, 200 plus players asking him to get on that team. Told the players at Colorado, I'm coming. Y'all are 1-11. So if you ain't ready, go get in the portal, because I got my luggage. I got my luggage. I'm bringing some dogs here, and we're going to win. Y'all used to being mediocre. I'm not. I'm bringing some dogs here to dominate. And he's going to dominate everywhere he goes. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Do your thing, man. Do your thing, because if people don't appreciate you, then go somewhere where you're going to be appreciated. And it's obvious, I think this was happening while he was there. Remember the disrespect and all the stuff that he was in the swag and different disrespect from the coaches and players? Right. Why would you lend yourself to that? Why would you deal with that? If folks ain't ready, you got to move on. If folks ain't ready, you got to move on. You got to get to a spot where folks are ready. And sometimes it's us. We ain't ready. We ain't ready to handle success. We ain't ready to dominate.
Like you said,
there are more coaches out there, and you just turned them off from coming there because of your actions and you being ungrateful. It's us. It ain't anybody else. We got to look at us.
Yeah, like you said, you either terminated or you elevated.
Yep.
From the coaching. So it's like you said, it's just really sad, because it's like he did a lot. So now, why, like you said, why not look in the mirror and see what else can we do?
Yes.
To elevate the schools. What can we do to get more of those opportunities for those coaches? There are a lot of coaches, a lot of guys that were probably former players that would love to be in coaching, but they don't get the opportunity. So if they don't get the opportunity, where can you go? You can go to HBCU. But if you're going to keep acting like that in certain things, or you're acting crazy and they don't want to be there and you have appreciation for them, why should they be down there? Why should they be down there? And because you're mad because you went to Colorado, it's a great opportunity. You know, it's a great opportunity. So why be mad? Because there's only time when nobody else is coming for us. We had to go to HBCU.
Yep.
But the question is, ask yourself, unless you went to an HBCU, when's the last time you supported a school and went down to a game to see an HBCU team play? Hell, when's the last time you seen the band play? I at least I go and support the band.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing? So you can be mad at him, but sometimes we need to look in the mirror. Kudos to Coach Prime, as you said. I wish him nothing but the best. Like you said, he told those guys in Colorado, he said, y'all might as well get deported right now. It's like, oh my God. It was like, I'm bringing my son. I'm bringing all these. Oh my goodness.
Bringing some dogs. I'm bringing some dogs who want to win. Y'all don't want to win. Y'all been sitting here with a 1-11 record. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Yes, man. When I heard him, when he said, we sitting here having a meeting when other people playing football.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Deion's not playing, bro.
Yeah. I hope he dominates in the Pac-12. You know, UCLA and USC are leaving, but I hope he gets to play them before he gets out there and get all these players. I think he's going to dominate getting in the portal. Folks want to play for Coach. Man, if I was young enough, I'd go play for Coach Prime. How can I be down, bro? How can I be down? Because every time I hear him speak to these players, I'm like, that's where it is. That's where it is.
You got to want it, bro.
Yeah.
Like you went in there and asked him how bad you want
it. And you know who's really afraid? The Sabins, the Dabos, because they know. They know. Okay, now I'm on your level now. Now I can get the players I want to get. Let's go. Let's go. Because Saban ain't one of those guys that are charismatic that can get players to Alabama. He's just dominant. He's just going on. And here's a player who's been there. So instead of y'all appreciating what you had and saying thank you, you hate it. And that's going to cost you in the long run. Let's see how far you get. Let's see if you can build on what he did. He gave you the blueprint. He gave all of y'all blueprint, but he showed all you Black colleges and universities that, you know what, y'all are sleeping on your job and y'all letting things happen and y'all, having a blind eye on all this stuff, and you're not raising the level of not only your football teams, but the young men and young women that are participating in sports. And he exposed it. Thank you. Thank you for exposing it, because I know you and I have been seeing it for years at HBCUs, and nobody talks about it. The corruption, the stealing, the not investing in the students. I've seen that. I love my alma mater. But hey, when you love something, you also see the ugliness of it. And he exposed it. Hopefully he exposed it to the point where we do better and not rely on folks. He was a godsend as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna leave it at that. If you want to take it from there, let's go.
No, I just leave it to that point. I mean, it's just you got to appreciate things before they're gone. He's gone on to some other things, but I'm almost certain that he will be giving back and making phone calls, trying to help other people.
Definitely.
So, wow, it's what it is, and people still gonna be mad and angry, but you can't stay somewhere forever. That's just not where it's supposed to be, and things have changed. And I wish him the best, and hopefully, again, we see other people who have already done it and trying to hope they can elevate their programs as well, like the Eddie Georges of the world and so many others.
Instead of begging the NFL for jobs, go to HBCU, build programs, build young men and women. If you really care about football and these young people, go to HBCU. Yeah, let's go to college football Division I. We got the Final Four. I want to know if you were surprised. Did the committee get this right? You got Georgia at Ohio State and you got Michigan at TCU. What I was really concerned with ICE is that we were going to see a rematch of Ohio State and Michigan for the semifinals. And I didn't want to see that in the semifinals. And the committee, what I heard was that wasn't on their mind. They just wanted to get the best 4 teams in. Do you think you got the best 4 teams in?
It's hard to say that, because no matter whatever I say, I'm going to be wrong in somebody's eyes. Your team don't make it. You always got a reason why you think your team is better, right? So the 4 best teams, I'm not sure, but I think the 4 best teams are in position to be there. How about that? Because you've already heard the Alabama Crimson Tide fans are, we're one of the best teams in the country. And you might be, but you have 2 losses.
Yeah.
You have 2 losses. So, of course, they're going to go after Ohio State because the way they lost to Michigan, but you have 2 losses. And the paper don't lie. If you on the paper, it says 2. It should have been 3 because you almost lost to Texas without the starting quarterback getting hurt. But we're not gonna go there. It is what it is. On the paper, you have 2 losses. So the one thing I think is kind of cool about it is the expansion though down the line. So now we no longer have to listen. I'm writing an article about this. No more whining because of the expansion. If you lose 2 games, you're good enough. You still get another shot. But no, I think they did it the way that the system is set up. I think they did it right. I didn't think they were going to have Michigan and Ohio State play again. The committee said they didn't think about it. I think that's balderdash.
Yeah,
I really do. That's just me though. I'm not criticizing what they did. I'm not saying positions, but I think that's balderdash. I think that's hogwash. I think they was like, we don't want to see that right now. We'll put such and such here, and you got to give it to Michigan. Didn't lose, right? So you knew Michigan wasn't going to lose. The question was TCU going to move up or move down, and then Ohio State was going to move to 3. And I think the factor that TCU barely lost, they could easily say that's it, and that's fine. But I mean, Ohio State only loss was to Michigan, the last game of the season. Some teams have had bad games. Ohio State did beat Penn State, and they beat a very good, now we're seeing a very good Notre Dame team. And then if you bring up the other ones, like I told you before, the one thing I said, you look at Alabama, you got 2 losses. Should have been 3. A lot of people say that. And then whoever you want to bring up, and that's why I was mentioning before when we had the discussion the other week, that if you lose to the same team twice, then how can you be in there? And USC is a very good team with like Caleb Williams. He might be the Heisman Trophy winner, whatever it may be. And then people are like, well, if he had 9 got hurt. I said, well, if Ohio State, if I want to say that, if they had their 2 healthy running backs, it's a lot of way everybody's hurt. Everybody is missing something.
But the way USC got beat, you could not put them in the playoffs at that particular time. The same team twice. They got beat down by Utah. I mean, absolutely beat down by Utah. And it was like when I was watching it, I'm like, man, I wanted USC to stick in there, but it was no way after watching that game that you can say that they're one of the top 4 teams in the country.
Yeah, well, plus 2, though. Let's be real about it. Again, 2 losses.
Yeah, to the same team.
Same thing with Alabama. You lost to the same team twice. Twice. How can you dignify that and say that that's something that it looks good? Well, they're really good. Okay, they are really good, but they lost to the same team twice.
Right.
So there's going to always be disappointment. I'm glad that they're expanding. So now we won't have that issue anymore. But yeah, I think they got it right. I mean, it only made sense for if the Trojans were knocked out, that Ohio State will replace them. So now you have Georgia, the defending champions, is going to play Ohio State. And then you got Michigan versus TCU, which I think is going to be a hell of a game. Yeah,
there are a lot of potential games coming up. I know we're going to be talking about them in the weeks to come. I don't really want to kind of touch on them right now. But those are the Final Fours. But man, going up to those semifinals, there are a lot of great games that I want to see. This is like one of my favorite times of year. This and March Madness, the bowl games that really count with the top 10 and the top 25. There's some great games coming up. So I'll be sitting in front of my television with a whole bunch of food, a lot of drinks, and I'll probably be napping in between games, but I'm going to enjoy this. Let's go to college basketball. And I told you about those Houston Cougars. They are, to me, one of the best teams in college basketball. But I've been watching some other teams like Texas. Now they're ranked number 2, followed by Virginia. They're undefeated. Purdue is undefeated. UConn is undefeated. They're at 5. Kansas is number 6 at 8-1. Tennessee 7-1 at number 7, followed by Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, Auburn. Baylor dropped all the way to 12, dropping 6 spots from the previous posting last week, followed by Maryland. I haven't got the chance to see Maryland. I saw highlights, but Maryland seems like a team that's risen and getting a lot of attention from the pollsters. They jump up 9 spots to the number 13 spot. You have Indiana, Duke, and I told you about Carolina. Me and Django were talking the other night, and we were saying the same thing. And North Carolina is out of the top 25 this week. And I think they lost like 3 or 4 in a row. Your eye test on college basketball, bro.
Man, y'all killing me with this North Carolina stuff. Don't nobody care on December 7th? Don't nobody care. Like, oh my God, North Carolina lost. Okay, they lost. But I told you what the day was. Come back in a month and we'll see what happens. But as far as the other teams are concerned, yeah, Houston's very good. Here's the thing, it's early, okay? And I'm not mad at the way they're putting the teams that are winning games, like Houston up there early, Virginia's up there early, Texas is up early in the standings. I think that's great. If other teams, like you mentioned, North Carolina's losing, Gonzaga's losing, Kentucky's losing, some other teams that you think were going to be the Blue Bloods, if you will, the better teams have been great teams for years. If they're not stepping up and winning games and losing more than usual, yeah, it came out the top 25, wherever you need to do. Let these other teams come up. But before I start handing out, candy cigars and, congratulating people with flags and everything, I need to see these teams play teams that matter, okay? And that's what I want to see. I'm waiting on that. I told you about Houston. Everybody's telling me about Houston. I said, okay, do they have one guy that can really take them through? Oh, they look like the old Baylor team that won a couple years ago. Okay, great. So now I'm setting in because I know this is coming up. Houston is playing some formidable opponents. They're set up to play Alabama coming up.
Yeah, Saturday.
And Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to watch them then, and then I'm going to make my assessment. The same way with UConn. UConn's number 5. UConn's making noise. Okay, great. I want to see them. Purdue is very impressive with the big fella Edney. He's playing old school basketball, but they're getting after it. The way they beat Gonzaga, they're showing you what they can do. More teams are impressive. Indiana beat North Carolina, and then they were upset, but they have more to prove. So Indiana's going to be facing Arizona coming up real soon. A game people want to see. Another game, 2 other games real quick that you want to see how good these teams are in there early, since you kicked North Carolina out top 25. Let's see what everybody else is doing. So Maryland is scheduled to play Tennessee very, very, very soon.
Yeah.
Maryland and Tennessee. And last but not least, since you went there too, I'm going to bring it up. I need to see Iowa versus Iowa State. That's coming up.
That's going to be a good game.
Yeah, so these are opportunities for these teams that are getting a lot of love early to see how good they are, because the other teams that they're going to be facing now are formidable opponents. So that's what I'm looking for. So if I come back in a week or two and I go, oh, wow, Houston beat Alabama and Virginia, well, maybe they are legitimate number 1. So I need to see it. I'm not going to be handing out no flowers and stuff early. I need to see them play somebody, and they are going to. So all they got to do is prove it, and then we'll go from there.
You mentioned Iowa State and Iowa. They're playing. We taped the show on Wednesday nights. They're playing Thursday, tomorrow night. So that should be a good game. Creighton is ranked 21st with a 6-3 record. They fell 14 spots. They need to be out the top 25. They are not that good. They're not that good. And Illinois, they dropped 1 spot. They play Penn State on Saturday. There's some good games coming up over the weekend. You have Auburn against Memphis. I want to see that game. That's going to be a good game Saturday. A lot of good games on Saturday. Arizona, Indiana. You have Arkansas, Oklahoma. Of course, we mentioned Alabama, Houston on Saturday. There are going to be a lot of great games. Also, I want to keep a close eye on tonight's game. We'll probably come back and talk about it next week. UConn versus Florida. Mm-hmm. So that should be a good game. But it's heating up. I'm loving it. I love this time of year, and I love my college basketball. But we're going to move on, talk about the NBA. And I have to be honest with you, when college basketball comes on, I kind of forget about the NBA, but I keep a close eye on the stats and all that stuff. The Boston Celtics, 20-5. When they lost their coach earlier in the season, I thought Boston would just sink right down. They're moving on. They want to get back to the finals, followed by Milwaukee. It's almost like Milwaukee really doesn't play hard until the second half of the season. They just kind of stay in the flow, stay in the top 5, and then they'll move up, followed by Cleveland, who really kind of beat the brakes off of the Lakers last night. And your boy again, AD, had a stomach ache or a flu and just sat out the game. I don't think it was a stomach ache or a flu. Them big boys in Cleveland were really kind of battling him. And they're like, you're not going to get 40 points on us. So, what you going to do? Atlanta plays the Knicks tonight. They're at number 4, followed by Indiana, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, and Toronto. In the West, you have Phoenix, who are leading that Western Conference with a 16-8 record, followed by New Orleans. That's right, Pelicans. The NBA team with a women's softball mascot, the Pelicans, are number 2, followed by Memphis, Sacramento, number 4, Denver at number 5. The Clippers are making some hay. They're at number 6, followed by Dallas, and Portland's dropped off a little bit. And teams like Utah, Golden State, I thought Minnesota would be a little bit better. They are they're under that kind of number 8 and 9 spot. It's still early in the season. We'll see what they do. But your eye test on the NBA, sir.
Yeah, you got to start with Boston. It's amazing what they're doing. They have like they're rejuvenated. They're ready to play some strong ball despite losing their coach. And the question is right now is whether or not they can keep it going. They're really strong right now. Let's see what they're going to can they keep it going. Middleton has come back now for Milwaukee, makes them even stronger. I keep hearing that rumor about them trying to trade Grayson Allen, aka Jack Tripper. I don't know what the hell y'all thinking, because he is balling. He's playing probably some of the best basketball ever, but they're solid and they're always dangerous that way. Cleveland. Man.
73, last 10, yeah.
I tried to warn y'all early in the season. And once they made the trade, wow. They are mean and they're hungry and they're nasty. Atlanta's hanging around. I still think they're a couple players away. But if you keep having Nate McMillan getting in disagreements with his players, you know how that goes. They can be a little testy, allegedly. But the one of the teams that surprised me in the East is Indiana.
Yeah.
Indiana's playing some strong ball. They have a lot of young players, and they're getting after it. They're guys that want to play and work real hard. And quiet just kept. Rick Carlisle is trying to turn some things around over there in Indiana. Nobody's really talking about that. Watch Brooklyn. I know everybody.
73 in the last 10. And nobody's talking about them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know all of the Kyrie hype and everything, but just keep your eye on Brooklyn. I think you also, once Harden's back and everything, keep your eye on Philadelphia. And a team that I really like, but I think they're just young and I'm not sure what's going on. I like Toronto. Toronto has a nice roster. They're filled with a lot of young players, a lot of guys coming into their own. I think a little twist here and there, they could be a lot better. Out West, Phoenix is Phoenix. We know how that is. Again, haven't seen New Orleans in person. And the big fella, man.
8-2 in the last 10.
And I'm like, wow. And they just play with reckless abandon. You know, they don't care. They're just out there. And it's like, we believe a lot of people are healthy, so they're playing real hard with the second slot. Memphis is Memphis. We know Ja does his thing, but I still think they're missing a piece or two. And the question is, will they be able to get that piece or two? They remind me of, and I know I'm not saying that Ja's on the same level in regards to whether or not he's better than these guys, but remember when Portland had the combo out there with the guard duo, they always would run for a while, a couple rounds, but then you get them to that next level, and they will fall off because of the factor that they just didn't have enough. And I think that's what you see in Memphis right now. Sacramento, mentioned before.
Boxing company.
Hey, Mike Brown, man. I'm seriously. Like I said, they remind me of the Island of Misfit Toys on when you get out there. It's like people like, what's he doing? Who's out there? It's like they discarded a bunch of people and they threw them on an island, and guys are just playing hard and scrapping.
That's where players that are going towards the end of their career or teams don't want them anymore usually go to Sacramento.
Yeah, but now they're playing hard and they got a lot of energy and got some young players over there too, so that's good. Denver is Denver. You know, what can you say? They look real good with the big fella in the middle, guards coming on, a lot of more healthy people. Clippers are hanging around, and then everybody's talking about Dallas. But hell, Luka don't score 30, you in trouble. You can't win a game, Luka don't score 30, right? But we got a long way to go. Yeah. I'm interested to see what happens. If the Lakers are healthy, I think they might. I'm not saying they're gonna win it all, nothing like that, but I think they can contend because when Anthony Davis is healthy and LeBron is playing and a lot of moving parts are doing well, they're hard to beat. Like the way that they beat the other night, they beat Milwaukee, and that was very impressive. again, the one thing, y'all, I'm not gonna let you get away with it. I know they've been talking about making a trade for DeRozan and all the other stuff. I'm not gonna let you get away with this, ladies and gentlemen, because I know what y'all was saying, some of y'all. Again, y'all need to go on and give Westbrook his damn love. Dude is balling.
Yeah.
Even when he doesn't score a lot of points, he giving you 10, 12, 15 assists. He is zoned in. He's locked in, and he's ready to play basketball. So as much as you may not like him, and you talk about how bad he was, he's not a team player, especially Laker fans, you got to give him his just due because it's not Westbrook's fault right now.
Well, the big if is if Anthony Davis can stay healthy, because that's been the question throughout his whole career. Can he stay healthy? I would bet the under on that because I don't think he can stay healthy for the rest of the season. Last night, playing Cleveland, that's a marquee game. LeBron going back to Cleveland to play. He's probably hyped up for the game. And then Anthony Davis gets a rebound and then just says, no mas, I can't play anymore, and walks off the court. So that's the big if with the Lakers at this particular time. And the trade rumors, I don't believe it. Chicago, they would be a fool to give up DeRozan. With the team they have here, all they need to do is put some one or two pieces together, and they are a team that can contend in the East. But I'm telling you, the team to watch in the West, if y'all not paying attention to Sacramento and Fox and company, you better start paying attention. They're 7-3 in the last 10. And just like I said, Coach Brown has them locked in and believing that they can beat anybody on the court. And I'm telling you, these young guys are coming out and they're playing with a lot of fire. I've never seen Sacramento play this tough since the days of Weber and Vlade Divac back in the day. So I'm not comparing them to that team back then, but nobody's heard about them until this particular time. And I was really, I follow Kentucky basketball. One of the players that I thought that was going to have a great career, I even wanted the Knicks to pick him up, is Fox, the point guard. I thought, his speed, things of that sort. He kind of reminded me of your boy Wall over with the Clippers, his speed going down the court, and nobody could keep up with him. And you could see that Mike Brown has put him in a system where he can utilize his talents. That's a big sign of a coach. Anything else on NBA?
No, it's going to be interesting to see what happens down the road. I see where Golden State brought Wiseman back up. It's going to bring Wiseman back up, though. It's a lot of interchanging parts, and so early. I catch highlights from here and there just to see what's going on. But again, I'm watching Cleveland. They might make me come to Cleveland for a playoff game. I haven't been there in years.
I might have to go see him in Chicago because Mitchell is balling out. And he was talking junk yesterday after the game, saying, hey, I wanted to spoil his homecoming. So, they're taking on all comers, and it's exciting to watch him. And I haven't seen him this enthusiastic in a long time, where he could just be himself and play ball. Let's go to the World Cup, man. Brazil is still in there. That's my team. Want to say shouts out to Pele. We're thinking about you. And hopefully you stay in there, hang in there, and you heal. One of my favorite players of all time. This is why I love the team Brazil, is because of Pele. And I got into soccer when he came to the New York Cosmos years ago. I was a kid, and I always read in the paper what he was doing. But you had the Netherlands. I kind of said the Netherlands would take out the USA. They play Argentina coming up. And you have Croatia playing Brazil, even though Brazil's a little banged up. England and France coming up. That should be a marquee game. And then you have Portugal playing, and they took out their star player. They didn't really need him against Switzerland, but here we are. They're going to be playing Morocco. And this is another African team that's got in. And so I'm going to put up we put up some of our sports pictures, and we kind of advertise our sports. One of the pictures, they're marking all the African teams that made it to this round. And African teams are improving over the years. And it used to be kind of like an easy win, but I'm loving it. Your eye test on the World Cup.
Yeah, the United States lost to the Netherlands. They're a very young team, but hey, they made it to the round of 16, which is really good. So they have something to build up on. The Netherlands are tough.
Yeah,
they're like old school, players when it comes to soccer, and they're gonna it's gonna be interesting with Argentina. I'm looking forward to that because, it's going to be, might go down to the wire because both of them are coming at it. Of course, your Brazil team is going to be doing what they do, probably crush Croatia, but you never know. But England and France, looking forward to that as well because England, even though they came back, they were tied America at the time, and then they came back and handled some business by beating Senegal, just kind of, blanked them. So it's a Jekyll and Hyde with England. You just never know which team's going to show up, but they're more than capable. The game I'm looking forward is to Morocco and Portugal. I'm gonna say this. I understand the coach said no, I call him Naldo. Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
Yeah, and I know they scored 6 goals and everything like that, and they're having some whatever disagreements. But I tell you what, coach, there are certain people that come along, and you all know what's going on with Ronaldo, right? We know he's one of the greatest of all time. So you can play with him if you want to, keep him on the bench. If you want to win this thing, you better put Ronaldo in that game, bro.
Do you think he was kind of keeping him out because kind of saving him for the later rounds? Because they got a talented team.
I mean, I'm good with that. I hope that's what it is. I hope it's not because you and your feelings, he and his feelings. Who cares? It's the World Cup. Y'all can argue about that afterwards. You want to see him for another 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Don't do this. Don't do this now. I'm glad to see the younger guys scoring the goals, right? But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, like when I watched Portugal play Senegal, Senegal was all up in them. They was banging. And at one point, you just knew it was those moments, who took over, Ronaldo. And he is so amazing. So, coach, get over yourself, whatever's happening, work it out. Because I got Portugal winning it all. If you get out the way. I would love to see Portugal versus Brazil.
Brazil, that's what people are saying
so,
up here.
So you and I can go at it. We got to be battling every time. So I would love to see Portugal and Brazil. Yeah. I don't watch a lot of soccer. I used to watch MLS back in the day, a long time ago when it first started, and I kind of got away from it. But World Cup, I'm all in. So, You
got France out there. France is no pushover. They're defending champions. And in a way, I know you're rolling with Portugal, but I don't know if they can get by France. And I'm picking France to get by England. That's going to be a tall feat to get by France because they're hot and they're playing really well. They're scoring a lot of goals. And, they got a lot of talent there.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then the surprise of Morocco upsetting Spain. I mean, that was huge.
Yes, yeah.
I have some neighbors over here from Morocco, and they played music, came in the parking lot, they was dancing, brought the ball out, they was kicking the ball. I was like, damn, are you serious? It was funny though, because they were that proud. They had the man on the speaker when he's talking about blah, 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 blah. Go, 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 go. I said, man, what the hell? All clean fun. But nah.
I'm loving it.
That's why I'm saying that seriously, that I don't know who the coach of Portugal is, but you better figure that out, bro. Don't do that. Don't mess up because you'll get in the way of talent. Do not, whatever you got to do, you got a little time now before the weekend to talk to Naldo. Get him right. You can play like Westbrook as long as you get his minutes. But you do not want, why would you have one of the greatest talented soccer players ever on the bench? He ain't 40, he ain't 60.
Yeah, I'm hoping, I'm thinking that maybe they're trying to rest him for the later rounds and not give up all, yeah, I'm hoping
it is now. It's the late rounds now. It's 8.
Yeah.
What you asking for? It's time to go. It's Nardo.
Yeah. Nardo. All right, man. So the big news today was Aaron Judge signing a 9-year contract with the Yankees. And everybody gonna think I'm hating with this, but I'm trying to think, how are they gonna pay other players to play with him on that 25-man roster with that contract? But it is what it is. This is how the Yankees roll. But this is what the Yankees wanted. This is what the Yankee fans wanted. And I think I sent you a video saying, I was a little nervous about what was going on. I was hearing rumors that he was going to the San Francisco Giants. But the Yankees took care of business and kept him in New York. So Give me some of your other findings and things of that sort, because I sent you another video or a clip about what are the Mets doing with their pitching. They're giving away all their pitching. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, can you explain what's happening? But Contreras, he's moving on. The Cubs getting the first baseman from the Dodgers, Cody. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on, man. It's like baseball's going crazy, and they're in the sports cycle, and it is not even a spring training yet.
I love it. I love it. I love all this movement because now people, the front offices are now moving, taking chances. They swinging for the fences. They're trying to win. Everybody tired of sitting on the laurels and trying to make things happen. So as you mentioned, I'm gonna stay right there. I know you're trying to run from them damn Yankees, but we stand right there. So
by all means,
you got 9 more years of Judge. All right, 9 more years. So you're talking about how they're gonna afford to play these players. They have 3 players. They playing Jared Cole and I think what's my other guy, the other slugger.
Juan Carlos.
Yeah, they're paying the average of $45 million. 3 dudes, 3 guys. So you mentioned Aaron Judge, 33, 9 years, $360 million. The Giants were right there in the end. But the other thing nobody's talking about, I guess it's out now though, but at the last minute, the San Diego Padres came in and requested a meeting.
Yes.
And basically offered that man 10 years, $400 million.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't have walked out the room. I'd have been in San Diego. I'd call my wife, my girl, significant other, my stepmom, whoever. Well, look, y'all need to come on out here because I ain't coming back. I mean, I know New York has this flair and people love New York and people that probably enjoys being there and that's cool. He has the right to do whatever, but I can't see how when they offered him another $40 million for another year, dude, I'm in San Diego with. So where the chicken at?
Bring back the chicken.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put it in my contract. The San Diego chicken.
I mean, I don't know. I promise you, I don't know. But kudos to him in getting this money, and the Yankees had to give it up no matter what. As you mentioned, some other things that came big were the Phillies picking up Trey Turner.
Yeah.
Right. For shortstop, 11 years, $300 million. So the Phillies are not playing. They already had a hell of a team, and now they're coming right back at it. But for those that don't remember, you reunite him with Turner with Bryce Harper.
Right.
Good thing they were with the Nationals.
Right.
That's going to be very exciting in the way that they're playing right now with the Phillies. They come back strong. The Mets signed Justin Verlander.
Yes.
Asking what they doing. They're like, okay, yeah, we let some people go, but they signed Justin Verlander to a 2-year, $86 million contract. And if you don't remember, now they really brought the band back. So now you have Justin Verlander with the Mets, and also Max Scherzer is still there too.
Yeah.
So remember back in the day, they were with Detroit as aces, and now they coming back together. So I think the Mets, for as many players that they lost, top-notch guys as far as like Cy Young winners and whatnot, and letting DeGrom go, who ended up with the Rangers.
Mm-hmm. They're building something down there.
Yeah. And I think when you see that, you have like when I mentioned Scherzer and Verlander back together again. Mm-hmm. If they can stay healthy, the way that they play, they're gonna have fun. And the Mets were this close.
Yeah. So
you bring 2 talented guys, you have 2 talented guys like that, along with some more veterans, and they play better, they could be a real problem. So I'm like good to see that. Also, you mentioned about the Cardinals signing.
What are the Cubs thinking, man?
Hey, I don't know. Back in the day, you would never hear
a Cub going to
your rival.
Yeah.
So Wilson Contreras is like, you know what? I'm gonna take that $87 million and I'm gonna move out the way. And of course, I think the catcher for the Cardinals is retiring.
Yeah, Molina retired, so they had to get somebody. Yeah,
they wasted no time, and Contreras is a hell of a player. So with that being said, and last but not least, you mentioned about Cody Bellinger. You know, Cody Bellinger went from the Dodgers, got for 1 year $17.5 million going to the Cubs. Now he's only 27 years old.
Yeah,
he was an all-star, but he kind of fell out the last couple of years in the way of his production. But he's only 27. And if he can get anything back for what he used to be, the way he used to play previously, then you got to give him much love. And I see why the Cubs took a chance. It's only 1 year.
Yeah,
So
and he'll love it here. He'll love it here playing with these fans. They love the Cubs. They're going to love you, and you won a World Series, so they're going to expect that from you. But it can be a harsh town if you're not winning. So I don't know if there were any other offers to go somewhere where a top contender, but the Cubs need a lot of help. So do the White Sox here, giving up their first baseman.
one last thing. Everybody, I think you mentioned before that Judge is trying to be greedy because he ain't producing. Just think about this. In spring training, they offered him $213 million in the 7 year for 7 years.
Yeah.
I think he did all right.
Yeah, he betted on himself and he won. You know, you can't sneeze at that. He betted on himself and he won. He got more than 150 million more. You know, if he would have settled in, he would have lost out on that. So he went, shopped around, made the Yankees nervous, and they're like, "Listen, this is what we can give you." And we'll talk about that 10th year a little bit later, but this is what we can give you right now.
There you go. I feel your pain, baby. I would love to see him. You imagine him with Tatis?
Tatis,
Oh,
man, that. Oh yeah. I mean, I was so hurt when Tatis got that 80-game suspension because I thought San Diego would really contend with the Dodgers, and it just kind of, just took the air right out of the balloon with that run. But we're gonna go to questions with the squad. I'm gonna ask the first question about this. The Rams pick up Baker Mayfield, and how is this gonna help the Rams? The Rams have only won like 3 games all season. Their starting quarterback, may be out, for a long time. They're saying that Baker Mayfield may be playing this Thursday. So, your thoughts, man?
okay. So I understand. I know I come up with the Baker Mayfield, all that stuff too, but Baker Mayfield can play. Okay. You lost Stafford, right? Basically for the year. So the question is, who you turn to?
Yeah.
When you move, Mayfield went over to Carolina when things were trying to get right and they had some people we could throw to. He's a gamer. He's a player when he's healthy. And he can at least move the ball. He's an NFL quarterback. He may not be Hall of Famer, may not be the greatest, it may not even be a starter right now, but he is a competent, capable NFL quarterback. And for the amount that it would cost the Rams to make the move, particularly off waivers, why not? Who else you gonna go get right now?
Right.
He's capable. So I would do the same thing because he probably can outplay whoever else is on their roster. Because if he couldn't, they wouldn't have brought him in. So, I mean, why wouldn't he play Thursday? Once you get to understanding what's going on, if you're trying to win ball games, which I think they really are still with the Rams, that you might have somebody in there. Because right now, if you don't go get a quarterback or have a quarterback online that really can move the ball around, you basically throwing your season away. So I don't have a problem with it.
I don't know. I kind of look at Baker Mayfield as a bust at this particular point because when Carolina waived him, that told me all I needed to know at that particular point. Because now you're relying on Sam Darnold and him going to the Los Angeles Rams. The way I look at it, the Rams are like, you know what, this season is a wash. Let's try him out and see if he can play. Let's try him out, see if he could be a backup. And if he could be a backup, then we'll keep him on the roster. But if he can't really kind of show us anything that he could, really do to help them, then he's going to be, waived again. And I don't know who else is going to pick him up at this particular time. He's becoming a journeyman at this particular time. He was with Cleveland, Carolina. Now with the Rams is his 3rd team. So they're seeing something in this guy that you say he may be an NFL quarterback. I question that a little bit. Maybe he's not doing his time with film. I don't know what's going on with him, but I said a long time ago, Ice, that this guy was the second coming of Johnny Manziel, and he is proving to me that this is who he is.
I get that. I think he's better than Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel didn't want to put the work in. That's what I believe. Johnny Manziel was kind of a fixture where he was kind of like one of those gimmicky quarterbacks. And it's kind of like when quarterbacks start to run and shoot, like your guy down there and down in New Orleans that's perpetrating fraud as a quarterback anyway, allegedly. But when they catch on, they catch on. But I think Baker Mayfield can play. I think that he may not be a starter, but I do think that he can at least contribute.
Okay.
So at least you want to, I mean, because if you don't at least try to win games now, I know there's only so much time left, but if you're in the Rams, you don't try to win games, what is the rest of your team going to be like?
Right.
Guys got to come in every day. They're trying to put work in. They want to at least say, well, damn, do we have a chance to even try to win a game? I mean, they're just not going through the motions because they're proud. One, because they won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
They still have reason to play. The coach is like, we got to get somebody that at least can complete a pass. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs this year. So I just see them kind of working them out. Your question, sir.
Do you think the committee got it right in college football?
I think they did. I have no arguments with it. When I saw it, I had no arguments with it. The thing that concerned me was I didn't want to see Ohio State, Michigan game right away. Georgia, to me, is like a Michigan type team. They kind of had the kind of same styles of play. And I wanted to see TCU. I thought they deserved it, even though they lost in a conference championship. They played hard. They missed a field goal. Hopefully they got a backup kicker going forward. But I think they got it right. I really do. I have no problems with Ohio State being in. I have no problems with any of the 4 teams being in. And this is kind of like the first year that I did not have a problem with who they selected in. I'm just ecstatic about Clemson and Alabama not being in. Let's be real. As long as they're not in, I'm good. You?
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, I think that it's okay what they did. I don't know what other choice they had, because when you go by doing the math and doing the formula, working the formula, a team like Ohio State that only had really, I won't say they only had one bad game, but they only got beat one time. And yes, it was against Michigan. But how can you legitimately say, hey, yeah, let's put Alabama in there when Alabama lost 2 games and almost lost a 3rd game?
Right.
And then again, as we said before, how could you put USC in there when they lost to the same team twice? Yeah. So if you have an argument as to why Ohio State should be in there because you didn't like the way that they lost their last game, I mean, I get that too. But on paper, it's what it is. That's what they usually go by. Not so much as to who's the better team. Because if that's the case, you could say a team that has 3 losses is coming on it, really hot right now, and they're ready to make a move, and they might be the best team in the country.
Yeah.
But then again, you got to go off of the body of work of what they've done in the past.
Yeah, and as always, the best team out of the 4 is going to win, and that's been in the past few years. The best team out of the 4 is going to come out and win. So they don't have to worry about 8 more teams in the 12 playoff system now. So get it while the getting is good at this particular point. Last second shot, sir.
Yeah, my last second shot is, as I watch the Deion Sanders drama and stuff like this too, I just want to give a shout out and a warning to athletes, young athletes, and also people in general in life. What we saw with Deion Sanders, because what he's done and trying to make a decision to improve himself in his life, be careful. Because when you're successful, you do some things, a lot of people will come for you. People are jealous, they're mad, they want you to do certain things. But 1, they don't live your life. 2, they didn't put the work in. 3, if you fall down, nobody's going to pick you up. So therefore, live your life. Be very careful when you're watching people when you're doing your thing, you're moving forward and being successful in life, because there are a lot of haters out there. And even though they may not say it to your face, they're behind you speaking about what you should have done. And now he get on my nerves, start calling your stuff little. So they're like, look at this little car, look at this little, everything's little, because they're angry, a lot of bitter people, because they don't have a good life. So my thing is, rock on Deion Sanders. Again, young men and young women in athletics, be very careful. There's a lot of people out here trying to take you for all that you have. A lot of snakes out here, and be good to yourself and live your life.
Yeah, definitely. This is my favorite Deion Sanders quote. If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. Congratulations, sir. We'll see you next week.